This is like my next segment of storytelling. And all these are true, you know, as far as you know. Now, they are true. This is in my Army training, sir. Went to Fort Knox, Kentucky for basic training and AIT. So when I got there, I was probably more in my age than everybody else. Everybody else was right out of high school, which is 18, 19 years old. I was 25 when I went in. And me and a friend of mine went in on the buddy plan, and I ain't seen him since. Yeah, Army, sir. But let me put that over there. Yeah. Went to Fort Knox, Kentucky, and all the old barracks that was there when I was there, which was 78, 79, I think it's 78. All the barracks that was there then is gone. They ain't there no more. If you'll watch Stripes, a lot of that basic training was done at Fort Knox, and you can see where they went to right at the beginning of the basic training when they went to the reception area. Well, that was actually the reception area over there. So when they cut my hair, and I had long hair then, they cut my hair, and everybody said I looked like an old man. So they called me Pops. Even the drill sergeant called me Pops. And right across, and you'll see this on Stripes also when they're just got through getting their fatigues and everything, and then they're marching across the lawn and everything. That's actually walking across from the cobblestone, something other like that, cobblehead. Anyway, there's a place over there where you could go and eat. They could rent you drums, guitar, any activity like that. It was hard to do though when you was in basic. You know, basic, you wasn't supposed to have get nothing off the gut truck. They call it the gut truck. Just this truck that sold sandwiches and tater chips and stuff. While you're in basic, you ain't supposed to do that. Me and about 4 of my friends went over to the Cobble Club. That's what we called it. We eat breakfast. And I drunk about 5 beers. In basic. You're not supposed to do that. When we got back, undoubtedly, the drill sergeant found out about it. That we went over there. And he called each one of us in the CQ office. And I wasn't the first one. The first one that went in said that he got right in your face and had you to blow in his face. KP for a week. Next one went in there. There was probably 5 of us. Next one went in there. They probably didn't drink 1 or 2 beers. I drank 5. I remember very well. KP. Yeah, KP. He got KP for a week. Next one went in. That's number 3. KP. He had to peel potatoes, that last one did. And I was asking them when they'd come back out, what happened? We got KP for a week. All this. I had some tangerine lifesavers. Tangerine lifesavers I had got from the store, the military store there, and I took it out and I chewed about 2 or 3 of them. I went in there and it went. I had to do it again. All right, go on. I had more beer than the rest of them did, and I didn't get nothing. I come back out, and there's one guy left. And he said, "What'd you get?" And I said, "Nothing." That's like, why? I drank more beer than they did. He said, "How'd you do that?" And I pulled them tangerines out, and I said, "I just eat about 2 or 3 of these." And he said, "Give me one, give me one." So I gave him one, and just as soon as he walked around there to the CQ office, there was a plain-clothes guy come around from the barracks there and said, "Are you Pops Williams?" Even that guy called me Pops. I said, "Yes, sir." He said, "What'd you just give that guy?" And I had to think about it, I wasn't even thinking about it. And I said, I don't. And then I thought, and I said, "Oh," I pulled it out, and I said, "I gave him a lifesaver." And he looked at it, and he said, "Okay." And he walked back around behind the barracks. Never did see the guy ever again. I don't know who he was. He wanted to know what I gave the guy. I said, "I just gave him a lifesaver." He thought I was giving him drugs, I reckon. Yeah, here's to get some tangerine drugs. But I didn't get KP. I got what they call server. I got server a bunch of times, at least 10 times. That's where you just stand on the other side, and as they go through, you get a dip of something, throw it in their plate. I done that about 10 times. KP one time. And my job was, there's so many in there, they just give you one job. My job was, I filled up a 5-gallon bucket of water, just water. I walked in the kitchen and went, phew, just dashed it into the floor. And then you had 2 or 3 guys mopping. And that was it. That was my KP. Now you compete against other platoons of everything. PT, which is physical training, keeping your barracks clean, and marching. Those 3 things. And at the end of it, when you do all this in front of the general, you get a ribbon on your pole that you carry around with your platoon on it. Our drill sergeant was old. He never got on to us or anything. He used mind power. Now, the other young drill sergeants, they would throw their bunks out the window and all that stuff at 3 o'clock in the morning. Mine never did do that. He would tell us there was, I think, four platoons. Or maybe 5. But he kept telling us we was in 3rd place. Y'all better clean this barracks. And by the way, my job on cleaning the barracks, and they give you a job on that too. You get up in the morning, they give 3 of us jobs. My job, there was 2 guys cleaning the latrine, the commodes. There was 2 guys, and they was good. They was cleanliness people, My job was to check them. And if I checked them, and then the drill sergeant come in there and that wasn't up to par, I had to clean them myself for probably a week. So I'd done that for about a week. I checked them and everything was clean, but they kept them so clean all the time till I'd get up in the morning and go outside and start smoking. Oh, by the way, you ain't supposed to smoke either. I would actually smoke in formation. I would have it in my hand like this, and I'd be at attention with a cigarette in my hand. You could cough. I did it. I swear I did it. Fire drill. You have a fire drill every night for an hour. You do it an hour. That's where you just walk around and make sure there ain't no fire. And then you wake the next guy up, and he does it for an hour. Yeah, you hope it's either at the beginning of the night or the end of the night. You don't want it in the middle because you can't go back to sleep. So they would wake me up. I would go to the bathroom, crack a window at one of the commode stalls. There was a window right beside it. I would crack it about an inch, maybe 2 inches, and I'd sit there and smoke for an hour. That smoke would go right out the window. It's a wonder I didn't get caught, but they didn't. I never did get caught doing that stuff. And by the way, mustaches, stuff like that, after they cut your hair, they couldn't make you shave a mustache. But they told, I didn't have a mustache then, but they told one guy, he said, we can't make you cut that, but we can make you wish you did. And they'd put that hat right up against you, man, and holler at you and stuff. Never did me, you know, because I was sneaky, I guess. PT, all them young guys, you know, I ran track in high school. I ran track. The long runs, mile and a half. Oh, that's another thing our drill sergeant done, by the way. When we would practice there goes a cat. Anyway, when we would practice out in this thing, in this field, he would time us, because they time you in the mile. And we would get like, what was it? What can you do a mile in? I don't forgot. But anyway, we was getting bad times. And I'm like, God, I used to run track, and I thought I was running really good. I was passing somebody, you know, I was ahead of, now some of them athlete young guys, they could do it. I was 25. But I come find out, that thing he was timing us on was a mile and a half, almost mile and 3/4. That's what he was timing us on. So when we competed against the other platoons, we got the flag. We was number 1. And by the way, cleaning the barracks, we was in first place the whole time. And he kept telling us, man, you in last place. You in third place. You back in last place. We was in first place the whole time. We got that flag. Marching, we had a Gomer Pyle that couldn't march worth a crap. He put him on KP the day we was supposed to compete marching. He put him on KP where he wouldn't be with us. Smart. So we got that flag. We had all the flags on our thing. His name was Sergeant Mojica, Mojoca. No, ICA. I found his son or cousin, and he talked to me for a little while. Nice guy, man. And our assistant drill sergeant, he was a boxer in the Army. His name was Sergeant Missouri. And he was a big, strong, muscular guy. He just done what Mojica told him to do. They had a hill where you marched. It was called the Heartbreak Hill. And it was, too. Heartbreak Hill. We had a guy, matter of fact, we would practice this maneuver. This guy was funny. He was funny. Everything he done was funny. His last name was March, M-A-R-C-H. And every time the drill sergeant would say, ready, march, he'd go running up there to the drill sergeant. Yes, sir. Get back in formation. His name was Mark. We did this thing when you absolutely got to move in the middle of the night when there are mines around. And they got this little, it's a night maneuver where you do this and then check the ground, take a step. You do it again, figure 8 all the way down, check the ground, take a step. When you absolutely got to move from that area, that's what you do. Well, this guy made a dance out of it. He was like, do the night move on down. He was crazy, man. I was in there with a couple of Alabama guys. One guy was from Mobile. Nice guy. He's in a picture with me. Let me show you this Army picture, sir. Army. Okay, Army. Here we go. Okay, the real dark-skinned black guy right beside me, he was from Mobile. He was actually a Williams, Charles Williams. Good guy, good. I mean, he was just absolutely fine. You see right here that I am nowhere near racist. The guy kind of behind me, not with a white shirt, but the other one, he was from Los Angeles. The one right beside me's name was, well, the one in the back, right behind me in the white t-shirt, his name was Miles. Had Nunez. Now, that was the athletes. The guy in the white t-shirt, his name was Nunez. He was one of the athletes. He could run. But all these was my friends. You can see the old barracks in the background there. But that's it says 1979, but I'm pretty sure I was there in 78. I'm pretty sure. But that was all my peeps there running around with. That wasn't all of them. They was, I don't know, several. There's one guy that gave a, what they call, what's in that movie, Code Red? Code Red? Now, the sergeant didn't do it, but he might have told them to do it, though. But I woke up one night, and I was looking up, and I seen these guys walking down the aisle in gas mask. I was like, what are they doing? And they went on down there to this certain bunk and beat the crap out of this guy. He wouldn't bathe. Man, he stunk to high heaven. They ended up taking him to the shower and scrubbing him with a darn brush. They got him. He bathed after that. Let's see what this says right here. It says July. It says 78, don't it? So it was 78. July the 17th, 1978. And I guarantee you, y'all can't pick me out right here. And it's weird, when my son went in the Army, he went to Fort Sill, Oklahoma. But when he had his group pictures, just like this right here, he was in the same spot that I'm in this picture right here. Right about close to the middle, we got a real dark-skinned black guy up there. That guy was from Trinidad. Actually from Trinidad. And the tall guy right beside him, he was a Williams. We was passing this medicine ball around. And it just so happened this guy was on the side of me, and that sucker would knock me down with that medicine ball. Big, strong, young boy, young whippersnapper. But anyway, I'm on the second row from the top. From the left, I'm the third one. That's me. Little bitty guy. I weighed about after I got out of the Army, I went from 130 to about 150. So I gained a little bit of weight while I was in there. Yep. My Army training, sir. And after that, AIT, I was supposed to become a track vehicle mechanic. I was going to do communications, but they said something was wrong with my ear, and that's probably right, because they're ringing right now. So they wouldn't let me do it, so they wanted me to pick something else out. They had a clerk. I wish I'd have picked the clerk now. Cook, and several things like that. And then they said track vehicle mechanic. I said, hey, I might could use that in life. But after you get in there, I tell you what, it ain't actually working on the tanks. It's like rewiring a generator. If the generator goes bad on it, they teach you how to do that. How to fix a flat on a Jeep. That is a track vehicle mechanic. But I actually got to drive the deuce and a half, the personnel carrier. It's that big box looking thing. It's kind of like a tank with the tracks on it, and it drives like a bulldozer. Now the tank, the Sherman tank, it's got a T-bar, like a tricycle. Y'all see a tricycle? That's how you drive a tank. All it does is when you do this, it just locks one of the tracks up. That's all it does. I was going real slow when I first drove it over these things. And this drill sergeant said, open it up. And everybody else was going about that way too. So I opened it up, and man, I was jumping over them hills. And when I got out of it, everybody was like, man, you turned it on, didn't you? I said, well, he told me to. I wouldn't have done it, but he told me to do that. So that was my time in the Army, y'all. It was, I thought it never got sore. Some of them young guys, they got sore from marching and doing the stuff that we done. But see, I worked 12 hours a day before I went in there. I mean, I was pretty active. Never got sore while I was in there. Not running, not nothing. Never got sore. Everybody else was laying in bed. You've seen it on TV, on strike. Oh. I never got like that. Drill sergeant, when we first got there, after about a week or two, drill sergeant calls each one of us in this CQ office to talk to us individually. Everybody was going in there, but when I went in there, he asked me what I thought about it so far. And I'm like, what do you mean? And he said, well, is it too tough for you or anything? I said, I worked harder than this before I come in here. He said, really? I said, oh yeah. I said, I ain't even got sore or anything. And after I started walking back to my barracks, I got thinking, I shouldn't have told him that. I shouldn't have told. Now, there was a guy, you know, they shave your hair anyway, or cut it real short. This one guy actually took a razor and shaved his head. He got stuck with I think it's Article 15, destroying government property. Because listen, folks, you in the Army, you belong to the government. You belong to them. Okay? So this guy got stuck with Article 15 for shaving his head. So it was just it wasn't nothing to it to me. And I enjoyed driving the tank and everything. That was pretty fun. I can at least say I have drove a tank. And that was pretty awesome. The deuce and a half, man, we went where the tanks went, actually. Up these, golly, they'd go everywhere. And of course the tanks knock down trees. They go everywhere. This Trinidad guy I was telling you about, in the mornings, I wouldn't, after a while I wouldn't even check the bathrooms because they was so good at doing it. So I would just go ahead and go outside and start smoking. I was almost quit smoking when I went in there. After I got in there and they told us we couldn't smoke, I started smoking a pack a day. just because they said I couldn't smoke. Don't tell me I can't smoke, buddy. But anyway, I would be out there, and there was this tree. I wonder if it shows it on that. Let me see that again. I think it does, actually. It shows that tree. Let me pull that up one more time. Well, you can see some of the trees, not all of them. Yeah, you can see that tree right there on the corner. I would be out there smoking because I'd have to look around, make sure nobody's seen me smoking. And I'd always hold the, where you at? I'd always hold the cigarette in my hand where they couldn't see the red flame. So I'd hold it like that. And I would look up in that tree. I'd be sitting there smoking, and I'd look up there in that tree, and I'd think, it looks like something's up there. I'd be looking, and all of a sudden it'd smile, and all you could see was teeth. This guy was black. I mean, you talking about a black man? You know, a lot of black men ain't really black. They brown and kind of caramel color, some of them. This guy was black. You see this hat? He was black. And he would smile, and I could see his teeth up there. He would be on a limb up there, sitting up there. What they do, especially the Mexicans and him, they would be in the army to get their citizenship. And that's what he was doing. He was in the army getting his citizenship. So that's where all of y'all ought to do that, Mexicanos. If you want to live here in the United States, don't come illegal. Just do it legally, and you can be here. Jesus. That's all it'd take, man. But that was my time in the army, and I had fun doing it. It was awesome, and wasn't nothing to it. A bunch of my friends had went in the Navy. Danny Crumpton, Kenneth Russell, several of them, they went in the Navy. I don't know if Bruce did or not, but they went in the Navy. And they wouldn't let me in the Navy for some reason. I don't remember what it was. Because I went the same time they did to join up. So I ended up later on in life, me and a friend of mine got talking about it. And that's going on the buddy plan. They have the buddy plan. He left about a week before I did and went to Fort Dix, New Jersey. Is it Fort Dix? And I was like, what's going on here? Are we on the buddy plan? I left about a week after that and went to Fort Knox, Kentucky. Never seen him again. Never seen him again. So he went to Fort Dix, and he left there, and I think went to Augusta. What's that one in Augusta? Fort Campbell? No, Fort Campbell's in Kentucky. He went to AIT somewhere else. I think it was in Augusta. I stayed in Fort Knox. Just watched Stripes with Bill Murray. That was took in Fort Knox, a bunch of it. Usually somebody would walk around with a yeah, he would walk around with a camera, and he'd say, hey, take my picture, take my picture. And a lot of the pictures wasn't no good or anything like that, but here's another one. One guy was walking by with a camera, and I said, oh, I've seen another picture you need to see. So I said, hey, take my picture. And there I am. You can see that tree right there. I was probably out there smoking. And I want to show you something now. Them barracks was 2 levels. Mine was upstairs. And I was just fixing to come out and go downstairs and smoke. And somebody was down at the bottom of the steps with a camera. I said, hey, they held it up, and I done like this right here. And look in my hands. You can see a lighter and a cigarette. A lighter and a cigarette. Where'd it go? Here I am. See the lighter and the cigarette? Yep, I'm going outside to smoke. Thank goodness I don't smoke anymore. I quit in 1985. That was about 6 or 7 years after that. I was trying to quit then, and then they said I couldn't smoke, and I said, I'll show you. That's the way I'm a rebel, buddy. That's the reason I couldn't ever play sports. I was telling somebody this just yesterday. I couldn't play sports because I was a rebel. You know, somebody, if a coach told me to take a lap, I'd say, you take a lap. That was me. I said, I ain't taking a lap. I'll take a lap and go right out that gate right there. And I hated having to think. You know, sports, you have these plays and stuff. You have to think about what you're doing. I didn't want to think. I didn't want to. I was just happy. Is that how you say it? There's no worries, you know, I just do what I want to do. That was me. I don't regret it, you know. I was happy. I kind of regret not playing sports though, because I was a fantastic end. I could catch a football, man. I could shut my eyes and catch it. You know, I could catch a football. But when I played toy ball, you know what position I played? I was about 110 pounds. Well, not toy ball, but I was little. Skinny, little. They put me on defensive tackle. Defensive tackle. What? Lord have mercy. Dan Vincent was the coach. Dan Vincent. And even then, I didn't know what I was doing. Didn't want to know what I was doing because I was in a position I didn't want to play. I wanted to play end. But they had their ends, and they was good too. Don't get me wrong, man. They was good. But I could play end myself. But they just wouldn't try me out there because they had their picks. And they was good, though. I ain't gonna say they wasn't no good and I was better. They was good, probably better than me. And they thought. They could think. I didn't want to think. I just did not want to think. Anyway, that was my time in the Army. And I'd say did it make a better man out of me? I don't know. It made me do, I'm going to tell you, it made me do a lot of things, but a lot of things I do now is what my daddy taught me to do. If I reached down, if I seen something right down there in the floor and I had to pick it up and put it in the garbage that I had just dropped, and there was something right beside it too that needed to be picked up. Now my kids, they'll reach and get what they picked up, throw it in the garbage, leave the other alone. If I see that and there's something right beside it that needs to be picked up too, I get them both because they got to be picked up. That's what my daddy taught me. He said if you're ever helping anybody work and you see that they're going to need a pair of wire pliers or a shovel or whatever it is, and you know they're fixing to use it, have it in your hand ready to give it to them. And I learned that from my daddy. Now, I wasn't his pick of the litter, but he taught me how to work. On my jobs, you'd have people standing at the time clock waiting for that 1 minute where they could get 15 more minutes or 30 minutes more on their pay. I would knock them out of the way and clock out and go. I said, get out of my way. Gee, they'd be standing there waiting to do that. I said, God, just do your work, clock out, and go on to the house, boy. They riding that clock. I just never did that. Never did. Army training, Fort Knox, Kentucky. Now they don't have them barracks no more. Them barracks is gone. Pull it up on Google, looking down on it. They got this big old building where all them barracks was. They got this big old some kind of building up there where that was. But watch Stripes, and you'll see where all that went on. Yeah, it was at Fort Knox, Kentucky. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it, y'all. Keep on making music, Alabama. Lord have mercy.